lawsuit is absolutely happening that we're filing. And we're in the process of getting that stuff put together now. They're also experts and vetting out information that would lead to possible criminal wrongdoing.
I'm going to jail!
Okay, I know it's been a minute, but we've got updates, and you have to hear about them. Number 1, Chrisley lawsuit against Katie. Number 2, Katie's lawsuit against Steb. And number 3, Nate the lawyer and Katie went back and forth, and it's kind of interesting. So let's go. First off, Katie said that today she filed a lawsuit against Steb McTwitterfingers. The lawsuit seeks damages in excess of $100,000 for defamation per se and injurious falsehood, plus consequential damages for contempt of court for publishing confidential court records in violation of the court and attorney fees. So if you don't know what this is all about, the first thing, the tort of defamation refers to a false statement, spoken slander, written libel that injures someone's reputation. For defamation per se, the statements are presumed harmful, whereas for defamation per quad, they must be proven. So basically, she won't have to prove that it's actually damaging. All she's got to do is show, hey, this is bad, what happened, and therefore it's presumed damaging. Though we've got this, a tort of injurious falsehood. That's hard to say. The tort of injurious falsehood, also known as trade libel. It consists of the malicious publication of a falsehood concerning the plaintiff that leads other people to act in a manner that causes actual loss, damage, or expense to the plaintiff. Some of examples of this, I would think, is whatever material that was put out and claimed to be real that caused other people to spread the rumor or spread the issue. One thing I can think about that would fall under this category, ironically, and that's one of the main reasons I'm bringing this to you, is what happened in December of 19, where these screenshots came out that were reportedly Katie. The internet demanded that there was some kind of fact-checking to it, and of course, without getting into detail, you all know what happened. That would be one example, I think. Consequential damages, otherwise known as special damages. They are damages that can be proven to have occurred because of a failure of a party to meet a contractual obligation or a breach of contract. Everybody knows what this is. This is the NDA. And because the NDA had a $5,000 clause in it that I had told you from all the way back in the very beginning of this happening, if you recall, because it had that clause in it, anyone that breaks the NDA owes the other party $5,000. And a basic count of what she claimed being able to be checked at least 8 times, we could see that it was broken, which would be around $40,000. Who knows though? That could be why she's asking for so much in this countersuit. I didn't know if this was going to happen. According to, what's his name? Not Nate the lawyer, but Nate the lawyer's buddy. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? What's that guy's name that hangs out with Nate the lawyer?
Uncivil Law or Rakita Law?
Uncivil. Thank you. Be right back. According to Uncivil Law, we'll have the actual lawsuit soon and can actually take a peek at it. So I've been asked by a lot of people if I've received a letter from Katie. I don't know. I haven't looked. But she did send a message to me through another person and asked me if I had an issue preserving anything I had. Of course, I don't do DMs and all my stuff's up. I told her, yeah, I'm good. But other people have had an issue with her sending out preservation letters. First, let's look at the preservation letter, and I'm gonna grab it from Drama and Opinions. Let me make sure you can see that. Okay, so make sure you check out Drama and Opinions for putting this up. Pretty awesome. And let's take a look at it, and then we'll kind of talk about what the issue is in the community, because there's a lot of people that have an issue with this, and then why they have an issue, and if they should have an issue. It starts off, good afternoon. You've been included on the list because you're a known associate of McTwitterfingers or have been otherwise involved in corresponding with Catherine Paulson in the relatively recent past. Due to his issuance of a complaint against Ms. Paulson, and any and all relevant or potential relevant evidence under the Minnesota Rules of Civil Procedure needs to be preserved by anybody in possession thereof. You are one of those people. Please review the attached letter to ascertain your duties under the law and the consequences for failing to adhere to those duties. If you do not understand those duties or consequences, get a lawyer. Please take this seriously and take immediate steps to preserve all potentially relevant evidence. Based on the allegations made by him, we will undoubtedly need to collect the evidence and potentially need to conduct further discovery with regard to your involvement in the situation. Thank you for your cooperation and for taking this matter seriously. I hope you are otherwise well. Have a good holiday weekend. So it's no secret that Saltsy talked to me. Everybody knows that by now. I have no idea if Katie's lawyers are going to want to talk to me. She did put out something. I saw it in the Drama and Opinions video where she was like, UNIRock is complying like an adult. And of course I am, if there's a good reason, right? If you're asking me professionally, then why do I have an issue, right? Though, some people did have a problem. This is Truth Sleuth. She said, I just read the attached letter and one line stood out to me. Stop discussing Ms. Paulson in any capacity, to paraphrase. You know, I had an issue with that too. Katie does the same thing that we do. She talks about all this, you know, crazy stuff going on the internet around us in these communities. And we don't really choose to get connected together. It just kind of happens. I don't think that we have to stop talking about her or a public lawsuit as long as, of course, we're pulling things publicly. If I don't know how to say this to a community that is so charged, that is as charged as it is. But if you really care about YouTube and the greater community of YouTube, you do have to know a lot of bad stuff's gone on in this story. There are people out there that are breaking the boundaries, pushing the boundaries. And yes, as much as Mr. Chrisley and other people don't like Katie, she has had people break the boundaries and go after her in ways that just aren't right. You got to consider privacy. You got to consider a person's rights. And that has not happened with a group of people against her, though they do that to just about everybody. So what I think Katie is trying to do is handle this group of people who are constantly threatening and doxing and all of that. One other thing is that this guy, Graham, the lawyer, is on his website, he sends out preservation letters and pretty much any other type of legal document you need sent out for a fee. So some people were saying that it looked like Katie went and paid this guy to do this, and it's not her legal team. I talked to Nate, the lawyer, just to get his, and he told me that more than likely Graham is part of her legal team. And that's why. And then they use him for the duration of the lawsuit because he becomes part of the team. Now that's just the explanation I got from asking a lawyer his opinion on what it could be. The community thinks that Katie's faking things, doesn't have a legal team. Some people, I'm not saying all of them, so that she doesn't, and that it's all a big game. Now, a lot of you guys know that I support Nate the lawyer, and I talk to him often. He's a really good guy. I've always told you to go subscribe to him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm finally going to update the sidebar on my channel. I'm going to put Nate on there. He said this about a situation on Twitter. He said, I must eat crow. My apologies to the anti-KJ crew. They have provided me convincing evidence that KJ doxed somebody. Your anger and outrage is justified from what Nate saw. They also made it clear that McTwitterfingers is scum. Doxing is 100% wrong. Thanks for taking the time. I have to say, what's the big deal where some creators will say, I'm not doxing, and other creators will say, yes, you are, because it's the intent. It's if you have malicious intent, if it's done to intimidate in any way or harass in any way, not because somebody says you are, but because you can see obviously that it is, then yes, it can be considered doxing. It's situation-based, it's nuanced, and you do have to look at it from... He also said this, because of the massive amount of DMs about it, doxing is posting personal information without consent, no matter where the information originates, even if the info is in public documents. There are exceptions, like the person using their real name in public, etc. Really good way to say it. That's why I like Nate. He puts things how they need to be put. Now, of course, Katie came back. You are ridiculous. Truthfully, the stuff you all worry about is mind-numbing to me. You flip-flop more than anyone I've ever met. Find a backbone and stick to it, but you won't because income streams depend on that crowd. No, they don't. Not in my case. I've had a long-term audience before I ever met any of you guys. I was doing better than I'm even doing now before I ever met any of you guys. When it comes to Nate, he pulled his audience from his legal stuff. It's not that crowd, at least when it comes to me and Nate. We're going to be fine no matter what. Have a backbone and stick to it. Nate does. He's a good guy. Now Nate's in the club with me and the other people that Katie hates. It's a big club. We have parties every Thursday. I don't know. But you won't. Income streams depend on it. She likes to go there. I'm not trying to diss her. I'm just telling you what happened. I don't want to get in an argument today, so I'm just going to let it go. She also continued, please continue to support people that actively harass me, Nate, because that's so noble of you. They weren't anonymous. I didn't dox her. Y'all's idea of a dox and an actual dox are insane to me. My address was published by them in retaliation, even though I didn't dox her. It doesn't matter. You got to be careful with this stuff. Yeah, we all make mistakes, and then you delete it, you say you're sorry, and you move on. But you gotta be careful. You gotta double check things. It just doesn't work that way. Please continue to be shitty, fair-weathered friend. It's always why I've gone back and forth in my engagement with you. She insults him a little. I'm not gonna read it. You rely on me for content, not the other way around. And this is where I came in on my live stream and I said, do you think you're talking about UNIRock, Katie? Because Nate doesn't rely on you for content, and I don't either, but you could make the argument that I do. But I don't. Either way, you've turned me into some kind of meme that can't even defend herself and other things. Todd Chrisley officially subpoenaed without a crystal ball. Obviously, though, Todd Chrisley has a reason, and he's going to get her sitting down and deposed. She said she wasn't going to be deposed, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But that's all I can say. That's just it. I'm going to do a quick update there because that subject's getting boring. Now let's move on to the end of the video. These two people, Katie and whom I call the Twitter fingers, they're going to duke this out in court. I don't think that McTwitterfingers or Steb or Nuclear Stebenstein has a chance. Why? If you've watched my Rock-A-Lot stream after the NDA expired, I showed a lot of the evidence that we have that's out there, and Discovery is going to find a lot more. I don't like any of this happening. I've said it the whole time. Though I'm glad this is coming to a resolution, and I hope it ends, and then I hope everybody after this situation ends can move on. That's it. That's all I'm talking about today. I'm out. Peace.